Thank you, Kate, and welcome to a beautiful evening here in La Belle Provence, everyone. The rain rolled through earlier on, but nothing can cool off these teams right now. Red hot between both Montreal and Edmonton. Marshall Ferguson, Paul Apolis, Kenzie Lalonde down at field level for us throughout the evening here. Extremely excited to see the return of not just Cody Fajardo, but Austin Mack as well. To have them come back into the lineup, pretty special, Apo.
It's amazing. Everyone in the CFL world is excited for this dynamic duo. And I'm not just talking about me and you, buddy. They're talking about Cody and Austin Mack. He led almost every receiving category for this football team last year, was crucial in their Grey Cup run. And now also on the other side, injury to Javon Leake. What does that do? It brings Kevin Brown back in the roster. Him and Justin Rankin, you look at what they did last 4 games, 174 yards per game. That's going to be interesting. Jarius Jackson right there. Really good stuff from him. Marshall, what are you talking about?
I mean, I love the idea of having those dynamic duos in the backfield and him leaning on the running game. He says he's feeling more and more comfortable doing that. Well, if they're carrying, 7 yards at a clip, you might as well keep giving it to him. And Jason Moss right here, 4-1 at home. The only loss against the Toronto Argonauts earlier on this season. But Montreal, mathematically, as we sit here, almost clinching a playoff spot already, as those perfect uniforms that Kate Burness was talking about off the top, the 1974 tribute uniforms on display here as Edmonton is ready to receive the kick from Jose Maltos, who will get things underway to wrap up another sensational week in the Canadian Football League. Thanks for being with us, everybody, as it'll be brought back by Dylan Mitchell to the 30-yard line, and he will be wrapped up and pulled down just shy of the 40-yard line as McLeod Bethel Thompson out onto the field here with Trey Ford still down with injury.
Last 2 games for him, and then the biggest thing for him is not turning the ball over, Marshall. He had to fill in when Trey Ford went down, led them to their past 2 wins. Talking to him this week, he's got a simpler game plan because of how many different pictures they're going to see from this Montreal defense. He wants to get ball out of his hand quickly and strike this zone defense when they try to run some pressures, Marshall.
McLeod always intense, but pre-game here, he knows the challenge of this very talented and well-coached Montreal defense tonight. He was locked in before kickoff, but now it's for real. They go hard count right off the top, handed off. Kevin Brown back in the lineup, big collision, and out near the 45-yard line as we take a look at the rest of the Edmonton starting offense.
Shane Richards, 5th-year guard. He's going to look at how he matches up. Mustafa Johnson, that's what I'm looking for all game. That's going to be a big one, how he can handle that great rusher. And Kevin Brown back in the lineup. Last year's leading rusher. He joins a very crowded backfield, trying to continue to build on the success they've had in the second part of the season, running the football, Marshall.
Nice little piece there for Edmonton on first down, getting a touch early on to Kevin Brown. As Jarius Jackson said, want to be able to do that as much as possible here tonight to settle this Montreal defense. As this one knocked down and incomplete. So after a great running play to start things off, they go to the air, and it looks like Moultrie was the one who got the big pop.
Yeah, when you throw the ball into the boundary, nice, quick, it's what you call 3-step drop or a quick game. And when the defensive linemen recognize it, what do? Just get your big hand up, go make a play on the football on the outside, right? So that's what you're always trying to do. If the quarterback's going to throw quickly, can I throw my hand up, make a play on the ball before, if I can't get home with a pass rush, Marshall?
Congratulations goes to Antonio Moultrie on the Montreal sideline as they get 2 and out after a pretty good return, good starting field position, which has been crucial for Edmonton in this 3-game heater that they are on right now. Is this one with James Letcher Jr. backpedaling inside of his 5-yard line. Picks it up after a 60-yard punt by Jake Julian as there is a flag down. We'll take a look at Cody Fajardo coming out here in that beautiful retro uniform after having his hamstring hurt, out for the last 4 games.
First in the Canadian Football League in completion percentage. He's got 10 touchdowns.
Half the distance to goal, first down.
10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions this season, but it's an amazing number with 78% completion. They like the short, controlled pass game, and then they're going to take some shots downfield. Cody's excited this week. He said he's really been working, making sure his rehab was ready to go. His wife helped him, everything. So it's been a great week for him. He's fired up and ready to play this week.
And a great reception to not just Cody Fajardo coming out of the tunnel here, the birdcage in the opening, but also Austin Mack got a rousing ovation as the hold on the return will drive Montreal back inside their own 5-yard line. Not a great place to start for Fajardo as he backpedals and throws this one away, as there's a flag out as well, with Austin Mack immediately asking what's going on. It looks like he's wagging his finger on the very first snap from scrimmage for Austin Mack.
There's pressure. There's pressure on the first, basically the first play of the game. They're going to run some pressure, and this is something you see often from Jason Shivers. He likes to pressure inside the 5-yard line to put
legal contact on a receiver. Edmonton number 15, 10-yard penalty, makes it a first down.
So one of the things Jason Shivers I always recognize is he likes to pressure people. And when he pressures people, sometimes what's going to happen, you could be in a position where you get your hands on. You've got the ability to put hands on people. You can't do it after 5 yards, and you really can't pull him down like this.
The whole week for Cordell Jackson was, hey, first snap, you're going to be lined up against Austin Mack, okay? Send a message, buddy. Go out there and send a message. As we see a Montreal offensive lineman down. Let's look at the Montreal starting offense.
Pierre-Olivier Lestage, drafted 10th overall in 2001. The Als waited for his NFL opportunities to be exhausted, and that patience really paid off with some really good football play from this great player. And let's go back to Austin Mack. He led in almost every 8 different receiving categories. Deep ball threat, comes back to this really talented receiving core. And, you know, they already lead the Canadian Football League in deep ball passes and completions. So to get this player that he has a relationship with, think about last year in the Grey Cup when he made that spectacular one-handed catch. They score the next play. So I know Cody's so excited to get him involved in the game plan as soon as possible.
Pierre-Olivier Lestage that you mentioned in the lineups there, Lapo, he does go to the sideline injured for now, but walks off on his own power. So on 1st and 10, they'll get it to the outside. Big run this time as the Elks starting defense gets gashed on a 1st and 10 run from Walter Fletcher.
I've been impressed with Sean Oakman. Been excellent addition to this defensive line. He's already got 2 sacks. He can be unstoppable when he wants to. And the leading tackler in the Canadian Football League, Niles Morgan, he's fast. He's got 71 defensive tackle. He's a physical football player and first-year player from Austin Peay. Leads the Elks with 3 interceptions. Cordell Jackson gets better and better. Every week he gets an opportunity to play the game.
5'10", 185 out of Austin Peay there for Cordell Jackson. Is now Fajardo plays on 2nd and 3. Inside handoff. And they squeeze it down. See where they spot the football. Niles Morgan thinks they got a stop for now. 3rd and short. Well, they'll move the sticks.
Just these situations, 2nd and 3, you're going to have one fullback come across. You're going to have all the linemen zone block, and you're just going to try to fall forward, get your 3 yards for your first down. Great productivity on the 1st and 10 play to make them get 2 consecutive runs there.
2023 4th-round pick Noah Curtis in on the tackle there as they'll go back to Walter Fletcher. Lost his footing trying to turn the corner. As we see Cody Fajardo and what he's been able to do over the last 14 starts, including the playoffs in these numbers. But man, it's been an incredible run for him before going down with that hamstring injury.
Yeah, and the one thing I asked him about Marshall was his deep ball throw. He's been a much better deep ball thrower this year. What did you do? He's like, I kind of did a self-scout. I looked at everything I did as a thrower, and then I started bringing trash cans to practice. So he went out, and he would go to practice in the offseason, 2 trash cans, trying to locate some of those shots. Then that's been a huge addition to this offense this season.
Davis Alexander watching off from the sidelines as Fajardo does load it up for a shot down the sideline. Hauled in. Charleston Rambo on the stat sheet immediately, and the Alouettes cross midfield.
Easy opportunities. When you make these, this is a spectacular catch by Rambo, one-handed. You'll see him right here. What does Cody recognize? Press man coverage. Rambo outside releases and just runs by with speed and makes the catch by Gray. That is a spectacular location by the quarterback to give him the opportunity and get them moving up all the way and flip the field.
38 yards, but only needed one hand to bring it down. What a catch by Charleston Rambo. Now they go with a little swing as Walter Fletcher gets brought down. But let's go back and look at this catch because I didn't realize in the moment. I thought they were hand fighting. Well, apparently all you need is the lefty here if you're Charleston Rambo.
Yeah, you know, certainly you have to have great hand-eye coordination here. Great, starts to grab a little bit, but the location is what does it. And he just traps it on his shoulder and makes that That's an amazing, basically hand-eye coordination with a great location by Cody right there.
Pressed Kenzie Lalonde down on the sidelines there too. Caught that in the background. Kenzie liked it. It's a big catch for Charleston Rambo here early on. Fajardo takes a drop on 2nd and 9. Looks to throw. Crossing route. And it's caught. Flag comes up at the end of the play. And that'll be Nate Bahar bringing back one of the old classic celebrations from his time in Ottawa.
Slip.
And roughing the passer, the call here against Edmonton. So
first down.
Let's take a look at the roughing first here, Lapo.
Yeah, Curtis coming off the edge here. As he's coming to show pressure, the ball's clearly out. You gotta, like, if you can at least hold him up. And then to receiver, you can see over here. Okay, let's take a look. Nate Bahar, basically you're looking deep and then trying to find somebody else. Nate's your check down. You saw him, they're trying to help out on this fast pass rush of defensive ends. He blocks first and then leaks out. The coverage lifts, throwing the ball.
Fajardo inside the score zone now. Looks to throw. Finds Walter Fletcher. Tries to make a move in the open field. What a tackle that time. Flying in Kai Gray. Not letting Fletcher get loose at all. And 2 big plays here for the Montreal Alouettes. The 38-yard completion to Charleston Rambo, and then the completion to Bahar, plus the roughing the passer. That was a 34-yard game when you put those together.
And this is what Montreal Alouettes do offensively. It's a short, get high completions, easy first downs, and I call it short, then a shot play. And obviously the shot play, when they locate those, now you flip the field. And like you said, with the penalty, puts them in an easy scoring situation here. 2nd and long here.
Austin Mack thought he had an opportunity to score in the background there from Walter Fletcher. Doesn't get it, but will he here? On 2nd and 11. Fajardo with pressure on, looks to get it away, completes underneath. Just an inch weave, diving inside the 5-yard line. And that'll be enough. Looks like right by that mark. Well, he actually spotted about 1.5 yards short.
And it looks like they would go for it. If they can, they'll go for it. Everybody lifts in zone coverage. Cody can't find anybody. The protection starts to break down. Just finds the check down. Really nice underneath check down there.
Edmonton did a great job rallying to make the tackle that time on Antwi. So Dominic Davis comes out. Short yardage quarterback as he's back on the roster with Caleb Evans being down, and now Montreal has to call a timeout. And Jason Moss, head coach of the Alouettes, not happy about that.
This is a longer one. This is going to be a little bit. So their wedge package will be a little bit. You know, they're going to have to do something just besides just the tight wedge. And it looks like they might be making a change.
Take the points. Not sure if having to use the timeout.
Whether they thought it was third, they probably thought it was 3rd and 1, and then it turned into a 3rd and 2, turned too long, so used the timeout to get the field goal. Didn't want to try it from this longer yardage situation, as I assume what has happened there.
Jose Maltos comes out midway through this first quarter. A 2-and-out for the Alouettes defense. The offense picks up right where it left off when Cody Fajardo went out with that hamstring injury. And a chance to get first points on the board here on Sunday night in Montreal. Maltos is true. And the Alouettes back to Montreal as we see McLeod, Bethel, Thompson hard at work against the Hamilton Tiger. Is this just because he used to be a double blue guy? What was this, Lapo? He got hot all of a sudden, came back into the lineup and looked really, really smooth against the Ticats defense.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row for him. You know, the biggest thing he's talking on this week, I did not turn the ball over either game, holding on to the football, making good decisions with it. But he's looking this week to attack this defense.
Inside run, nothing really happening there up front as that defense continues to do a great job against the running game. Let's look at the starters.
Tied for the league in sacks with 5 of them. Mustafa Johnson, he's going to try to stop this potent run defense with his size and strength. Tyrese Beverett, first in the CFL in defensive plays. You're going to see him at least 3 different positions on this defense tonight, and that's what McLeod's looking for too. And Deontay Ruffin moves from the field halfback to the boundary as Bryce Cosby moves from the Sam linebacker, strong side linebacker, to the field halfback in the back end.
You said 3 for Tyrese Beverett?
Yeah, he'll play free safety, he'll play will, he'll play halfback, he'll play free. He might have drove the bus today to get here.
I think he's going to play about 6 or 7 at some point here tonight. We'll keep an eye on it for you as McLeod Bethel Thompson into a hole shot, big throw into coverage and hauled in as Tevin Jones making plays at slot back for the Elks. They love him in this role.
This is what McLeod Bethel Thompson's strength is. You're going to see a seam right here, and there's going to be space before that corner can fall inside. He recognizes it, he throws it immediately, he throws it with anticipation. That's one of the things McLeod is so strong at. This is a zone football team he's facing, but he can throw and anticipate windows.
25-yard gain goes right back to the well. Here is Jones will make another grab, but you're right. I mean, the idea of being able to let that football go in between 4 or 5 defenders and doing it so early with the right precision, it's why it makes you wonder why McLeod, when he was in the lineup at the start of the year, doesn't throw for 400 a game every time.
Well, you just saw it on the previous play, the catch to Tevin Jones. There is softness on that side of the field. He recognizes it immediately. He changes his drop, throws the quick pitch. So he's got a strong arm, but his ability to see pictures before the ball is snapped is what makes him great.
A lot of the heavy sets here tonight, moving offensive linemen around in the backfield as well without a fullback in the lineup as they go to KB, and Brown is churning the legs and refusing to be tackled all the way down near the 10-yard line, as they've got something going with this Elks running game over the last 3 games, and now here once again in Montreal.
This is what you call an outside zone play. You see all the linemen running and working for width. You're trying to get people to move out of their gaps, create space, and then extend those gaps. And you see Kevin Brown there is able to create a big first down. And this is like you talked about. Jerry said, I am not running the football enough on 1st and 10. I give up on it too much. I don't want to be in 2nd and long, but I have to force myself the last 4 weeks to make sure I run the ball.
Very honest from Jarius during our discussion with him about that this week as Kevin Brown gets the football once again down near the 5-yard line. That offensive line is churning it.
You had the point was, hey, well, it's pretty easy when you're getting 7 yards a carry.
Well, right, and look at what they've been doing over the last 4 games.
It's pretty easy to keep running the football, but that is the problem. You don't want to be in 2nd and long. It's hard to pass on. I've been there before as a play caller, so sometimes you're like, oh, but you have to be committed, and certainly the success they've had the last 4 games has allowed him to keep calling runs, and it's been what's worked for them. Justin Rankin's been outstanding young find for them.
2nd and 5 from the Montreal 6. Bethel Thompson, pressure on, looks to throw, quick game, touchdown! Back where it all began, Gino Lewis in the end zone in green and gold.
Great throw, pressure off inside. They had a run-pass option here. Really pretty picture here. So they're gonna pressure, try to stop the run. When they do that, they're gonna give up and put themselves in one-on-one situations. McLeod once again recognizes it, throws it inside to Gino Lewis as Gino makes that inside move on Ruffin.
Let's go, Gino.
They run the ball a couple times back-to-back, couple of 25-yard gains. Back-to-back plays, get deep in the score zone and go back to Gino Lewis. A quick little slant on the inside, beating Deontay Ruffin. 6 plays, 70 yards in just over 3.5 minutes. And McLeod Bethel Thompson here in Montreal, find an 8-7 in an end zone that he knows oh so well. Push it high, Gino.
McLeod Bethel Thompson's intelligence. Watch right here. He sees the safety is in the line of scrimmage, stopping the run. You're going to get a 1 out and 1 in. What does he do? He just quick play action fake, knows he's got 0 coverage, which is 0 help for the defensive backs. It's an easy throw and catch on Ruffin to Eugene Lewis. one of his favorite targets this season. So really good. That's a really good response on that drive after the touchdown drive, or after the plays by the field goal by the Montreal Alouettes.
Back in the nest, man. Lewis Island. Y'all know what's going on.
Lewis Island here back in the nest, Gino says. I didn't know there was a Lewis Island. Yeah, I don't think Deontay Ruffin wants to be back on. I'm sure we'll see it soon. As Sean Thomas Erlington, former Hamilton Tiger Cat, returns this one for Montreal as a 20-yard return. And Cody, nothing plays. Robert Parrish from the Toronto Argonauts gave him a little shove and then down the tunnel, and we all thought, oh, okay, that doesn't look great, grabbing at the hamstring, and then all of a sudden it's Davis Alexander time for essentially a month here in Montreal. The success has continued, obviously, as the Alouettes continue to rack up the victories, 9-1 at this point. They're going for double digits here tonight as a little shovel underneath Fajardo, and that'll be an incomplete pass as he tried to flip it back inside. But Cody Fajardo and Davis Alexander, remember the first start that Davis Alexander made afterwards, and I asked Jason Moss, what's the leadership style like for Davis Alexander? He said, well, he basically just does it by his play on the field because Cody's our leader. He's like, Cody is everything to this team, but Davis is going to come in and give us everything he has, and he was great.
And Cody had a good point. He says, I'll help Davis in anything he needs, but sometimes too many people talk to the younger quarterback, right. So I wanted to make sure the coordinator and the head coach are talking to him, not me.
Go simulated snap count here, try and get a look at the Edmonton defense. Fajardo goes with a screen back to Austin Mack, gets a big touch, and that will make the fans in attendance very happy as several of them raise to their feet and celebrate having 81 back in red, white, and blue.
The Alouettes run more screen passes than probably any team in the CFL. It's a middle screen where you release the lineman downfield, you give the ball to your great player in space, try to get the yardage. Just 2nd and 10 is what hurt them, or else this is a pretty good game. Just leaves them 3rd and 3, forcing the punt. Jason Moss and Cody Fajardo also talked about, you know, we're going to face a defense that knows Cody pretty well. With Jason Shivers having time with him, Saskatchewan, there was going to be a lot of zone coverage, they felt, because some of the things Jason Shivers has done to Cody in his experience.
Jason Moss 2-0 against Edmonton. Of course, used to be the head coach in Edmonton as they'll send this one away. And the Elks get possession back. Dylan Mitchell outside of his 25-yard line on a 54-yard punt. And returns it out to the 40. Nice little return that time for Dylan Mitchell, setting up McLeod Bethel-Thompson in the Edmonton offense on a...
And Danny Machocho was the first call for Austin Mack when he was released from the Atlanta Falcons. And actually, funny enough, Machocho was heading to Florida, where Austin lives, to catch a preseason game between Jacksonville and Tampa. So the two met up for lunch last Friday. And for Austin Mack, his priority in that conversation was to share his desire to be an Alouette long-term. He's here in the CFL, and he wants to be here to stay. He has another young little girl along the way here with his wife, Joy. He wants to be here long-term, guys, and so you can expect the deal to be ironed out here in the next few weeks.
Great news for CFL fans coast to coast. You might not like him when he makes a big play against you, but love seeing players like Austin Mack committing to the CFL and being here for a while as he's gone through the ringer in his NFL experience. And Edmonton with a little run inside to Rankin. Dylan Wynn there to get the stop.
Yeah, one thing about Austin Mack, we'll go talk about that, is like at the beginning of the year, you didn't know who was going to be the explosive receiver. And then what happened? Tyson Philbott became the explosive receiver. He gets an injury. What else? Charleston Rambo stepped up. But they do have Ken, Julian Grant, Tyler Snead, and Tyson all in the 6-game injured. So bringing him back at this point is a great opportunity for them to get that deep ball player they had last season.
Reggie White there as well alongside Keon, Julian Grant. I mean, that's a ton of catches right there, a ton of Canadian catches as well between Tyson and Keon. Hate to see them on the sidelines, but Mack makes that feel a little bit less painful for Montreal fans as the defense gets some noise from the Montreal supporters on 2nd and 10. Backside, little crossing route here. McLeod Bethel-Thompson, another completion. And Darnell Sankey brings down Tevin Jones, but not until an Edmonton first down.
Great recognition here. Montreal loves to pressure and stand everybody at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to show you this real quick. 1, 2, 3. You got all these guys standing up at the line of scrimmage. When the ball snapped, they all drop out. They give the illusion of blitz, and then they drop out. Everyone's covered deep. So you throw it and get your check down to Tevin Jones. And that's really good recognition by McLeod, understanding, hey, everybody walled off the deeper routes. I'm going to take the underneath route.
Heavy package back in here. Jacob Zod is an extra offensive lineman. Playing in that fullback as they'll plunge their way forward with an inside run. And interesting, Jarius Jackson is kind of going to this a little bit more than maybe we expected him to, which is mix and match these personnel packages and really lean on having a little bit extra meat up front.
Well, they had an injury to both their fullbacks a couple weeks ago off the roster. They don't even have a fullback on their roster. They're doing it with Hunter Stewart and Jacob Zod. Or technically, when they want to put extra bodies at the line of scrimmage and run, that's who they're going to use. Give them 4 yards, put them in a 2nd and 7 situation here.
So far, offensive play calling 5 passes, 6 rushes for the Elks. McLeod, pressure on his 6th pass. And looks over the middle. It is complete. Dylan Mitchell, and flags come out at the end of the play, well after the play. And a big pile of Montreal and Edmonton linemen. McLeod Bethel Thompson up onto his feet, and I'm guessing this one's going against the Owls.
Could be another roughing.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Montreal number 91. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Isaac Adeyemi Berglund.
Adeyemi Berglund on it. They're trying to pressure here, and they do what I'll play it right here. So you're going to see what's called a twist, where he comes behind another defensive lineman. As he twists, he goes in, he thinks he has a free shot, but he leads with his head, and that's a blow to the head. You cannot strike any blow. Can't hit a quarterback or any player in the Canadian Football League in the head.
I'll get you every time for that. 13-yard gain to Dylan Mitchell, 15-yard penalty, so 28 yards total. And now I'll go with another quick game throw, really getting the ball out of the quarterback's hand nicely here for the Edmonton offense as Hergy Mayala hauls this one in.
And talking to McLeod, he talked a lot about, hey, I know when they're going to pressure. I got to think I've got a good beat on when they're going to bring pressure, when they're going to disguise it. I just have to have my eyes right to know when they do give me these open seams. Can I hit these open seams? Can I get it? And he does a great job of anticipation of his throws, which is as good as anybody in the league right now. Anticipation throws, Marshall, as you know, as a quarterback, is throwing when the defense is most out of position. Throwing it early. Don't wait for the guys to get into the windows.
Noel Thorpe trying to dial up some run defense here against Edmonton, and on the final play of the first quarter, he will do just that. Is a little scuffle between Dylan Wynn and Mark Cordy, looks like there at the end of the quarter, but Wynn getting into it. As usual, it is intense in the trenches here tonight between two really, really talented and hot teams in control of their calls all season long, but never more than over the last month. We got a good one here in Montreal, back and forth, and hey, 74 passing, 1974 jerseys. We got 74 passing yards for a buck. It's meant to be here, Lapo, but it's a great matchup between these two teams stylistically, and increasingly what we're seeing is Edmonton leaning on that running game, and now it's going to get real tough in the trenches.
Yeah, these are the top 2 scoring teams in the Canadian Football League, both completing passes. They're high percentage throwers. And the nice thing for the Elks, they're averaging close to 6.5 yards per rush. So they've got the ability to stay ahead of the sticks, not allow Noel Thorpe to run all those kinds of pressures and blitzes. So Jarius is doing what he wants to do, stay patient with the run game. But McLeod Bethel Thompson is seeing the holes in the zone, seeing the pictures, and making great decisions with the football.
Well, speaking of personnel packages, McLeod Bethel Thompson begins the second quarter by watching as Dakota Prukop is in at quarterback here. Got Rankin and Kevin Brown around him. Run a little option play this time. Zone read inside out, and the Montreal defense, Wesley Sutton, ready for that, flying down to make the play. A bit of a different look from Edmonton.
Yeah, this is, you're going to see 2 blockers going this direction and here. You're going to pull a guard to come up in the hole, and they're going to read the end man on the line of scrimmage. And Dakota's either going to run it or hand it off on the outside, or he's going to run it up on the inside. And he sees them expand with the speed sweep, so he goes ahead and keeps to the ball. So it's basically an option play. It's either a speed sweep or a quarterback run.
Matthew McConaughey, I say we run the veer. There we go. Got it in. McLeod Bethel Thompson back in the game and into the end zone. Touchdown, Curly Gittins Jr.
This is what McLeod talked about. There's going to be 7 times through the course of this football game where they're going to be pressuring. I got to see those pictures, and I got to make sure I recognize it and I can strike them. And you see right there, a bunch of people standing at the line of scrimmage. They're bailing out. The hardest thing for this defense, and I thought this would be difficult for the Montreal defense. When you stand linebackers at the line of scrimmage, it's very hard for them to drop back, Marshall, and find where they're supposed to spot drop to in the zone. So hats off to the Elks and McLeod Bethel-Thompson seeing these windows.
Go 8 plays, 70 yards for that touchdown drive. Their first one was 6 plays, 70 yards. So matching them up, one goes to Gino, one goes to Curly Gittins Jr. And this was the offense that Edmonton was dreaming of at the start of the season. McLeod being the leader of the huddle, healthy and having a bunch of really talented, dynamic offensive skill position players.
And you're right, they did this at the start of the season, Marshall, but what they're adding now is 170 yards rushing a game, which obviously can help their cause, help them end a game, run the ball down. But some nice passes, mixing up versus zoning, their man coverage against Montreal. And then, once again, recognizing the team is going to be pressuring and dropping out, give the illusion and blitz and go. And he is down, Marshall. Down. Goodness.
I always wonder how the ones that make it to game day.
If you and I tried that right now, there'd probably be a couple of broken hamstrings right there.
The ones that make it to game day for celebrations. I want to see the cutting room floor.
I got a Milt Stiegel story. I wish he wasn't here. Like, I remember Milt before games used to go into the room with all the receivers. And I used to say, this is amazing.
See the return down the right sideline here. Sean Thomas Erlington. Great starting field position for Cody Fajardo.
Great by Sean Thomas there. But Milt used to do this. He would go, I said, Kahari, that's amazing. He goes over the final things. No, he was figuring out what dance they're going to do after a touchdown. That's what he was trying to do, of course.
Sean Thomas Erlington dancing down the sideline right in front of the Alouettes bench. Really nice to see Sean Thomas Erlington healthy and active here on the roster in Montreal after signing in free agency after all that time in Hamilton, as Fajardo breaks the huddle here with Walter Fletcher alongside him. David Dallaire as well, the young French-Canadian fullback, is in the game, and Montreal goes to their own little version of bully ball and tries to pound it right into the middle of that Edmonton defensive line.
The one thing I see out of this Edmonton defense is that Anderson right here is a linebacker who really's got the ability to run. Both these linebackers are fast, physical.
5'11", 230 in Anderson.
And they shed blocks. And what does that mean? They get underneath the offensive lineman and go. And I'll tell you what, they look faster on tape. And I always say this, when you know what you're doing, you run a 4.5, you run a 4.5. But if you don't know what you're doing, you look like a 4.7.
Yep.
This defense is getting better with the more reps they've had. It's a young group, but they're getting faster and better.
Shivers dials it up on 2nd and 7. Some pressure on Fajardo, rolling the same way that he hurt his hamstring, and now throws it away and gets tackled into the Montreal bench as it's incomplete. 3rd and 7, and Fajardo will stay right there on the Montreal sideline.
And Ed Brown, a second-year player from Virginia, second in the team in sacks. You see him chasing down Cody Fajardo as Cody's trying to scramble, but the speed of these two ends is very impressive when you watch them, see him chasing this down as Cody tries to throw it away.
Marcus Christmas giving chase as well from his defensive tackle spot on the inside. So
best D-line name in the league?
Yeah.
Christmas,
yep.
Maybe? Could be. Is there a Halloween on this? Easter?
Never short of options in the CFL name game here is big punt once again on the field. 49-yard punt. As there's an injured Elk down behind the play. We'll find out who that is. But Cody Fajardo fading to his right, reminiscent of that hamstring injury.
Maybe could be an extra in there, huh? Get that going, or are you a little orangish for that?
Yeah. The sunburn came in real nice at the end of summer. No options on that one, non-negotiable. We go back to this Edmonton running game. Kevin Brown gets another touch and continuing to battle right through the echoes of the whistle here, reminiscent of 70s CFL football while they're wearing these throwback uniforms.
Titus Wall, it's interesting. Titus Wall, veteran from Calgary, getting opportunities as they move him closer to the line of scrimmage to get some plays. Talented secondary, Dequois. I love watching these guys play. An interesting thing here is they've got the ability to pressure if you want to. They can drop back in zone. They can play man. They do a lot of things very well.
Playbook wide open for Noel Thorpe after the frustration on that last touchdown drive to Curly Gittens Jr. This one goes to Dylan Mitchell. It spins around. Nice little drop step that time to go and get the yardage required for another Edmonton first down.
When everybody plays zone and they want to keep you from throwing inside, they give you the option outside. McLeod sees this quickly and goes, I'm just going to take the throw outside on the perimeter to get it to Mitchell so I can get north-south for the first down. It's great that they only needed 6 or 7 yards. Back to Jarius, continue to run the football on first and 10.
If it feels like McLeod Bethel Thompson's hot, you're right. 8 straight completions. That one goes for 13 yards. 4 receivers. Options to his left. This one won't find any of them. A little confusion, and Curly Gittens Jr. says, my bad.
And through the course of the game, especially watching Noel Thorpe, after too many first downs, right there, he brought some pressure. He brought a linebacker and a defensive back off the backside edge, just trying to do a change-up so he doesn't show the same look. Had an opportunity to throw the ball a little bit wider, and McLeod just kind of missed that throw, went to the inside one.
So back-to-back 2nd and 10s. This is the down and distance that the Alouettes defense usually thrives, especially during this great start to 2024. This time they'll send 5 from all sorts of different spots, and alligator arms that time from Gino Lewis.
The ability, as we talk about, different guys play different spots. Marc-Antoine Dequoy, you will see him run down the line of scrimmage. But when you play defense like this, you see Dante Ruffin is low and inside. He knows that pressure, that they're going to bring some pressure, that I can play a little bit farther inside. You can see McLeod, what he's saying, he's like, don't stop. You got to run right through that. I'll push the ball in your hands, but I know he's inside position. I'll try to throw you on the inside shoulder.
The problem is with McLeod's arm strength, it might throw it right through you if he runs the opposite direction. As James Letcher Jr. returns this from the 20-yard line, a 53-yard punt. And Edmonton's special teams coverage unit rallying to go and make a play. Austin Mack back here in Montreal. See, at the start of the season, the Alouettes have no receivers. There's no good players. We didn't know how great this guy was going to be. Great to see Austin Mack back in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, Ohio State player, outstanding. Talking to him this week, couple of points. First thing, I asked him what the difference was in the NFL. He's like, well, first of all, I got to make my own ice tubs again.
Yep.
So I go back to that world. But he talked about how he loved the competitiveness at that level and the people he worked with.
Fajardo looks out to Mack on a quick slant there. Smooth route running. Something that he carved into his inaugural CFL campaign last season.
Quick slant right here, easy throw. Byron's going to be off to the wide side of the field, takes it. The quote I loved he said is, I kept learning how to create a lifestyle around the work of football at that level, and he was around some great people. Kirk Cousins spoke highly about watching Kirk Cousins and his process, and he said he's learned a lot and he wants to bring that to this Montreal Alouettes offensive unit.
Also adds championship glow after last season. This one up for grabs. It's a punt down the field, and it is intercepted as Edmonton gets possession back from Fajardo. Obviously miscommunicated. Thought he was going to throw a deep ball over the top. Receiver stopped him. Bynum has been frustrated a little bit early on in this one, but goes and makes a play there as Davis Alexander talks it over with Fajardo.
And this is one of the things that they've done so well. They've got a bunch of deep ball touchdowns, but deep ball throws, but they don't have a lot of interceptions. Yeah, whether or not Cody thought he was going to continue to go or he got stepped up, certainly Mack and him not on the same page. Nice.
Austin Mack actually got bumped off of his route, and now, the challenge flag is out. And Jason Moss, after seeing earlier that Austin Mack drew a illegal contact on a receiver penalty, I wonder what the conversation
Montreal
is.
Challenging for pass interference on the previous play. The play will be reviewed.
In order for it to be pass interference, the ball has to be in the air, obviously. Was it in the air by the time that contact occurred?
And then there's two other things that have to happen when you're also running these. The receiver has to make sure he picks the side of the defender, so you can't just run into the defender. But if you look at the top receiver right here, you're going to see him on the go route. and it does appear that he's on the inside half of the defender. He's trying to run through the inside half of the defender, and he gets collision.
Of course, reminds you of the old, when you could challenge for illegal contact and people would go fishing before they changed that rule and said, no, you can only challenge for defensive pass interference in this spot. Labo used to go searching for things all the time.
And years ago, you used to be able to make that contact
right.
downfield, but the league 5 years ago said, hey, we're going to only go to 5 here, and here we go with the command center. Hey, every time I see this, this is what I think about. That man's playing Galaga, right? Which is an Avengers quote, which you would not know at all, but that's an MCU quote. Tony Stark there, but all these different monitors trying to figure out.
Well, Dave Foxcroft is going through it right now as the replay official in this ball game, and here's exactly what he's looking at in command. There's obviously contact. It's obviously beyond 5, but it can't be illegal contact. You have to challenge for defensive pass interference. The ball up in the air. Was it enough? That's what they have to talk it through, and Jason Moss hoping that he can get a big flip and field position and get the football back, because Cody Fajardo through the beginning of the season, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, right? Like, he was really, really good with the football, taking care of it, very rarely made mistakes. And this one would hurt for Edmonton to get possession back midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, in Montreal has done, you know, they're
Edmonton's defense talks it over and looks at the film. They've looked at it at command. Here's the call with referee Tim Croker.
After review by command center, the ruling on the field stands. Montreal, by losing a challenge, has lost the timeout. First down, Edmonton.
So I guess what they're saying, it's within the 5, so you can see this is the line of scrimmage right there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll call it the 42. I'm going to say, I guess they're saying it's right on the 42, right at the 5-yard mark.
Well, he set his feet and stayed true to it. Got an interception for his troubles there for Bynum. So Edmonton does get the football back after those touchdown drives. A little miscommunication between Curly Gittins Jr. and McLeod Bethel-Thompson. Then it was Geno Lewis short-arming it, not getting a completion. We'll see what they can do on this drive with 9:05 left in the second as Jason Moss takes one more look.
Another thing with, you know, the ability of Edmonton to run the football here, they're holding on to the football, they're keeping it away from this. You know, you know, we got the 2 top offenses. Hey, we're going to keep on, we're going to hold the time of possession. We're going to make sure that we keep running the football, putting you in second and medium situations. It's hard to do all your blitz packages when it's 2nd and 5 for Montreal.
Great substitution. Dylan Wynn out. Jeffrey Canton-Arcou back in the ball game. There's now pressure on McLeod Bethel-Thompson. And in the backfield immediately. Montreal looping around. And it'll make it 3rd and 4 as Canton-Arcou came off the bench and ended up in Edmonton's backfield immediately.
Canton-Arcou is right here. All right, and when they do a ton of these what are called 3-man fronts, and then they add an athletic linebacker in Canton-Arcou and allow him to go ahead and rush the quarterback. The guard get caught up helping the center, and that's a free run for him, and he's an athletic football player, Arcou. Really good. They utilize him very well in this defense in a number of ways.
Mentioned earlier, Anderson playing linebacker out of Tulane, 5'11", 230. How about Jeffrey Canton-Arcou, 6'4", 240.
Amazing.
That is just a brick wall of a man at linebacker in his rookie season. As Jake Julian sends this one away. James Letcher Jr. trying to get to the outside on a 54-yard punt. Edmonton strings it out and tackles him at the Montreal 38-yard line. It's Canton-Arcou making plays here in his rookie CFL season, all over it for the first rounder, 9th overall. We're back, man.
Dublin, Ireland.
Everything's back. Great time to watch some football as Charleston Rambo crosses and almost gets knocked over by the snap. And Walter Fletcher with a touch inside, and the aforementioned Anderson from a couple of seconds ago working at linebacker. Nick Anderson in there alongside Leon O'Neill Jr.
Really nice. Leon Jr. finding a crease, getting through the defense. A little fake here, and then they're trying to run what they call a stretch play or an outside zone play, but no blocker for Leon Jr. O'Neill. Really Really nice stop by this Elks D.
Good to see Noah Taylor back on the field as well. Number 42 at defensive end, bottom of your screen there. He was injured on a special teams rep earlier as Fajardo steps forward, checks this one down and incomplete. And don't often see that from Walter Fletcher, who is old, reliable, super high completion percentage when he's been targeted, which is part of the reason why Fajardo's completion percentage still leads the CFL this year at 77%.
Yeah, Walter Fletcher's first in the CFL in yards after catch, so he's somebody that they trust to get the ball to. I think Cody made a good decision. Everybody lifted in zone, so I'm going to take the back, and the back should be able to get me the 7 yards for the first down. Just a little bit, if you could take a little bit off of it to give him a little better located throw with a little less intensity, makes the catch goes.
Joseph Zima, a high snap, brings it down. Sidewinder that's going to hit the turf and do just that, kick out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. As we see last week, the performance of Justin Rankin and just how much he's kind of flowed into this offense, and all of a sudden adds a little bit of that power dynamic side by side with Kevin Brown. Javon Leaks in there as well. And hey, Kenzie, you never know who's going to give you a call, do you?
You just never know what can happen. For Justin Rankin, he was released at training camp, as you mentioned, Marshall, and then on July 21st, he got the call to come back. So during those 2 months, he was spending time with the Frisco Fighters in the indoor league, and he was in a team meeting when Leroy Simon called him up and said, hey, buddy, we need you out here. So 28 hours later, he was on a plane and back in Edmonton.
Yeah, incredible, sitting in a meeting of a different team, different league, and your phone lights up, and you go, actually, guys, I got to step out for a second. I got to take this.
When you watch him play, he reminds me of the high school running back who's a backup on the team. Later in the game, they've got a pretty good lead, and he goes in and he's going to say, I'm going to show you that I'm a great football player. He runs with an attitude and an aggression, and the coaches love this player. One of the hardest workers on the team, one of the most studious players. He said, I'm not coming off this roster. You put me on, I'm not coming off.
Michael Thompson, some confusion on first down. He'll look to throw here on second. And once again, it's Canty Narku flying into the backfield on back-to-back possessions. And the Alouettes, once again, have cashed in with first-round draft picks like they did with Marc-Antoine Dequoy, and on and on and on. They have made the most of their first-rounders.
5-man pressure, and what does that mean? They're going to bring people in spots, but they take both linebackers. Arku's going to start this way and then come back. And that's what they've done 2 plays in a row. He starts and then he twists around, and it's just too hard for the lineman to pick up. They get off balance when these twists happen, and Arku's such a good athlete. He's in to make the tackle on the 5-man pass rush.
This is super high punt that falls very, very short. And Fletcher Jr. returns after a 45-yard punt.
I want to make one more point about Rankin if we can. Like, talking to Marcus Howell, he talked about Rankin and his ability. He's like, when we go to the airport, he's in his playbook, he's studying it. He's the guy where other guys are getting McDonald's, doing other things. Like, they love him, and they expect him to be there for a long time.
Cody Fajardo against the 4-man rush on 1st and 10. Looks over the middle. Complete. Nate Bahar worked in the middle of that field. Falls in another one. And takes a look down at the sticks before he realized, okay, I can do the first down celebration. Why not?
Yeah, great intelligence. I had 2 years working with Nate, and I always thought he was great. I kept moving him closer to the football because he was a great time and space, understands to be ready when the coaches need him.
Go back to the running game here, up in between the tackles, and who was that? Sticking out an arm and making the play. That's DeMarcus Christmas. Why not? A defensive tackle. He just grabbed one part of Walter Fletcher's body and rips him down to the turf, holding what could have been a much, much bigger gain.
Yeah, with Pelly and Christmas in the game, that's some big dudes. With Pelly at 320 pounds and DeMarcus at 302.
They got them both in here again as Fajardo, deep drop, steps up in the pocket, looks down the field, and it is complete. Nate Bahar makes another. Said he was just playing game out of retirement essentially to have some fun when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. Well, this looks pretty fun. He likes this offense.
As Cody scrambles, Nate sees it, jumps inside. Great move by Cody to get across. Nate jumps in, get north-south. Great play by Cody. Just recognizing time to move, use my legs. Zones usually break down when quarterbacks use their legs. Another great play by Nate. Been a very sure-handed receiver for him.
Tighten things down here inside the box. Fake the run for Fajardo. Lots of time to operate. Defender with his back turned, and now Cody is wrapped up down at the 20-yard line. As Nick Anderson was the one right there that had his back turned to him, trying to chase the running back out to the flat until the Edmonton bench started screaming to turn around.
Yeah, Nick Anderson, yeah, it was a very good play fake by Cody. And again, part of what they want to do is they always want, once they get a first down, they're going to do something short. Do a lot of short crossing routes and stuff like that.
As the emotions high here at Percival Molson Stadium tonight, the Elks in a rhythm early and continue to hold a 14-3 lead.
I just prepared a nice 3-minute warning. What are you eating, pecans?
He always is eating. He's eating all the time.
We have a great halftime coming up. Thanks a lot, Enoch.
Snacking.
I've seen Enoch eat.
I can confirm that being in studio.
Enoch does not snack. An Enoch snack is a meal. Okay.
Uber Eats delivered in there to the station.
Ready to roll here with a waggle. Cody Fajardo looking to Mac at the 10-yard line and knocked away. Great coverage. Just got a sense coming out of the huddle there that Austin Mack was fired up to try and go and score a touchdown in his return to Montreal, but Leon O'Neal Jr. said no thanks.
Undercuts this out route. This is Mack on an out route, and Leon Jr. has help over the top. You can see up top somebody ahead of him, Moncrief above him, so he can play underneath this and he can really drive the route. What does that mean? He doesn't have to back up because he's at help from Moncrief over the top. That's what you call two deep man under coverage. Don't get the opportunity to get that ball. It's got to be a little bit farther outside.
Jose Maltos from 28 yards away. That's a crazy play by O'Neal Jr., by the way, spinning his way back. Anyone who's ever played linebacker just watched that and said, really? How did he get there? Well, pretty good athlete.
It's one of the hardest positions to play.
No doubt. We get a look at the CFL on CTV schedule as it begins with the Banjo Bowl, September 7th, Sask and Winnipeg. Going all throughout the season. Tons of great matchups available on CTV. Eastern semifinal, Eastern final, Grey Cup as well on CTV this year. Great to be able to share our great game with so many people and the good folks at CTV. Putting together that in conjunction with all things CFL on TSN. As always, your home for Canadian football. Jason Moss.
Calm down from the penalty.
Yeah, fired up still. Working the sideline, working the officials a little bit. Kevin Brown in the backfield. They'll roll hard all the way to the right side of the field. McLeod Bethel-Thompson pumps. Now he's going to use his legs. Dives forward. McLeod never afraid to go for an adventure with the legs.
Hey, they're averaging 7 yards a rush. That's just a rush for McLeod. And one of the things, they sprinted to the field. What they did is they moved the launch point. The great thing about it, you get your quarterback away from danger, but the bad thing is you split the field in half and everybody starts chasing you. Montreal was in zone. They could sit on all the 3 routes. So McLeod did the best thing, put him in second and short by just pulling the ball down and running up. One of the few rushing yards he has this season.
Reminded me of a touchdown Atlantic run that McLeod had, as the way that he exploded into a tackler at touchdown Atlantic with touchdown Pacific coming up next week on Labor Day, and right down the middle, the heart of that Montreal defense. And again, we talked about it, Labo, stylistically, but this is a challenge that this Montreal defense really hasn't had to face this year because nobody's been running the football like Edmonton is trying to right now.
And they certainly are, and this is one of the things they love to do. They're going to do a gap play. You'll see the guard pull around, and he's going to try to create a crease. It's what you call a power play, where he's going to try to create a crease that the back can go in. He kicks out what's there, and it really good on a second and short operation. This is something that this coaching staff has done from all the way back to their time in Saskatchewan. The offensive line coach, Sorrells. staple of what they do.
Dane Richards that time with the power block, and now they spring Kevin Brown for a huge run down to the 31-yard line. Well, actually spawning back around the 34 as initial contact, but Noel Thorpe looking for answers. It's right between the tackles.
Once again, they're going to run an outside zone play, and then you're going to see them cut the ball back because they're stretching the defense. As they're running, there's the crease you need. Call it one-cut football. The running back takes 3 steps. What do? I'm going to put my foot in the ground and get north-south as we separate this fast defense from Montreal. The one thing, they play a lot of smaller guys this front for the Montreal Alouettes, and that's why you're seeing a lot of bigger guys playing for the Elks.
24-yard gain for number 4, Kevin Brown. Now they'll go back to the air. Gino Lewis shakes off a tackler. And Marc-Antoine Dequoy, man, if he didn't bring him down, that looked like it might have been Gino's 2nd touchdown of the ball game.
So you can see the chess match right now. After a couple big first downs, what happens? Noel Thorpe, I'm going to pressure you. We're going to send a blitz. What happens? Apply recognizes that immediately and has a one-on-one situation with Gino Lewis to put them into the score zone. See them starting to pressure. Now you get the throws on the outside and puts the Elks in the red zone.
I mentioned Marc-Antoine Dequoy as a 1st-round pick. That was my fault. He was a 2nd round. How is he a 2nd-round pick?
I don't know.
He's an incredible football player. He's the free safety of the Alouettes in the Montreal Caravan program. Stares down McLeod Bethel-Thompson on 1st and 10. He'll hand it off. Kevin Brown knifing his way through the Alouettes defense once again inside the 10-yard line.
So once again, what they're trying to do is what they've been doing for weeks in a row. They're going to send 2 people down. They're going to pull 2 people to the point of attack, and then this is what's called a counter play, and the back finds the crease on these counter plays. One kicks out, one goes around the horn, and you just create extra gaps. Really good run here, and I'll tell you, this is a 9.5 yards per carry for Kevin Brown right now. A pretty amazing stat for him. They got to keep doing it.
I'm glad you're drawing this up to explain to people at home because it's not the most complicated thing. However, it's teaching tape. Edmonton's offensive line are dominating the line of scrimmage right now. Sealing and kicking and double teaming and everything else.
And a blitz look once again from Montreal because they say, we're not going to allow you to do that. We're going to walk everybody up at the line of scrimmage. You want to try to run the football, you either better have a route pass attached or we're going to stop you for a tackle for a loss like happened here.
Titus Wall tracking it down from the backside that time as you see the uniform of Kevin Brown. That is a man who's getting some touches here tonight, but a real interesting dynamic with 58 seconds remaining in this first half. 14-6. Only majors on the board for Edmonton, and now 2nd and goal from the 6.
And the Edmonton Elks are the #1 team in the Canadian Football League in red zone offense. They've got touchdowns on 79% of their drives. The best by far in the Canadian Football League, and they've had the most trips in the red zone.
Let's see where McLeod goes with the rock. Hard count. Rolls to his right. Looks inside. Nobody home. McLeod's going to try to use his legs. Dives towards the end zone. And will come up just shy. But it'll be 3rd and goal.
McLeod is yelling at himself. McLeod, you're not going to be faster than you are. Like, don't yell at yourself. Don't get mad. Don't have a recruiting meeting right now. I like what he does. He can't find anybody open in the zone pressure. He starts to move around, scramble, can't find anybody. You know, if they get possibly 1 more yard, what are they doing? You know, it gives them an opportunity to still take a shot. So this is a great run by him to give them the opportunity. Hey, if this is a 3rd and 1.5, are we gonna take this shot for the end zone or a 3rd and 2? Fully extended there.
He was committed, but Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund chased him down from the backside. Speaking of 1st-round picks, 3rd overall by the Calgary Stampeders back in 2020 as an injured Edmonton Elk makes his way off onto the sideline here. That's the reason for the delay, and Dakota Prukop with the short yardage package gets set to come out. So a little bit of an awkward exchange between 2nd down and 3rd down, but it gave Edmonton more time to talk about it.
Are we kicking a field goal? Are we going to go for it? But I think the upstairs are telling it's maybe a little bit more than a yard. Let's go. We're on the road. Let's get this opportunity to go get him.
There's Joel DeBlanco, 1st overall pick in the game. Wearing number 50 right there, alongside Marcus Christmas and the rest of the protection unit. But you never know with Dakota Prukop being the holder.
Yep.
And here we go.
Yep.
Get ready. Hard count. Is he trying to draw or will it be live?
So you go up to the line of scrimmage. When you have Dakota Prukop as your holder, what it gives you somebody who can run up to the line of scrimmage and then either go for a QB sneak. You do a hard count. You get underneath the center. Hard count means you use your voice and try to get them.
Violation.
Really good execution by the defense of the Elks.
Number 7.
See, I don't like that they call that on the quarterback when he's not allowed to snap the ball. That doesn't need to go on Dakota's resume that he drew a time count violation. As Boris Beatty gets at the line this one up, change the angle, a little bit more friendly, and now regular holder Jake Julian out of Barrie, Ontario, the punter for the Elks by way of Eastern Michigan. Will put it down. And from 19 yards away, it's up and through. And we see those beautiful 1974 uniforms that the Montreal Alouettes are wearing. Well, coming up at halftime, they'll be breaking it down for you. And here in Montreal, they'll be celebrating the 74 Grey Cup champions.
Wally Bono there.
Who's that guy on the right?
Right.
Wally wandering around there. Great to be able to see so many of the legends coming back and celebrating, and they did a fantastic job of making these uniforms stand out, be memorable, be true to the past, add a little bit of modern flair to them.
And I like what Jason Moss talked about. He says, hey, we want to honor these guys. We're proud to wear the jerseys they wore and won the Grey Cup in 1974. So we're excited to play for them and play our best game.
Yeah, he loves bringing in the history and making sure everybody appreciates what has come before them, and what has come before tonight for the Montreal Alouettes has been a heck of a lot of winning. And right now, they will trail going into half 17-6 as Edmonton. Really the story right now, you'd have to think Lapo is the running game, but Gino Lewis has looked really, really good as well, as we've seen him. And Noel Thorpe's already on the whiteboard trying to figure out. Listen, they're gapping us here, and
we're not going to stop. We're going to stop this counter.
And Gino Lewis with a touchdown here back in Montreal.
20 yards. He's got 3 targets on the game. Just such a hard person to play man-to-man coverage against. He's always going to be able to move inside, make his moves. Just an outstanding player that they can utilize, especially when they're running the ball so well to play action pass.
Let's go down to Kenzie Lalonde, who's with Gino Lewis.
Well, Gino, you opened up this game with a touchdown. Your first since returning back here to Montreal. How special was that for you?
It's a blessing, man. I just thank my Lord Jesus Christ, for the opportunity. I appreciate this stadium. I appreciate these fans, and I'm glad to get the first catch here. It was a touchdown.
The Alouettes defense has been so good at disguising their formations. You guys have been able to break through and find these holes. What are you liking about your offense?
Yeah, listen, we're a confident group. A lot of people don't think we're supposed to be here, but we believe in it, and we know we're supposed to be here. So, this is the big test that everybody's saying right now. Right now, we up 17-6, and we got to keep this going in the second half.
Said it was special to get that touchdown. Would it be extra special to get the win?
That's the main goal. That's the number one goal is to get the win, and that'll take everything over the top.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Merci.
Calgary, Toronto a little while ago, and remember Reggie Begelton had said, yeah, we'll be a totally different team in the second half. Well, they were a completely different football team. That wasn't quite a Reggie Begelton guarantee of confidence, but it sounds like Tyrese Beverett believes that they can fix a couple of things here and there and be able to shut down Kevin Brown and Justin Rankin.
Well, look for Montreal to start doing a little bit more blitz and pressures on first down to help get more people, because they're struggling stopping the run with those extra players. 17 rushes, 112 yards for the Elks. So they're playing what Jarius talked about. He said, hey, I'm going to make sure I continue to run the football, and it helps when they have a great average. And interesting, the last 3 games, at any point in that game, they've had a 17-point lead. They got an 11-point lead now. Be interesting to see how Montreal responds.
We are off and running here in the second half to close out another great CFL week, as this time Sean Thomas Burlington on the kickoff return as a flag comes out, and Cody Fajardo back out onto the turf after his first half. What'd you think as they were talking about back in studio? Davis Alexander, he is sitting there on the bench. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but Cody wishes he had a couple of throws back, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, I think they've also had a little bit of trouble trying to run the football. They've been in some second and long, so they're not getting some of those first downs on first downs. So they've been in a position where they're just, you know, it's also hard when you face a team like Edmonton that continues to stay on the field and not give Cody the opportunities.
Certainly feeling it out with Austin Mack as he gets back into the lineup and not having very many practice reps, but it's great to be able to have Mack and Fajardo paired up once again, but it's not as though you can just drop two guys back into the same uniforms and everything's going to look perfect.
No, and, you know, certainly what happens a lot is, you know, there's just one turnover in the game, but these are two teams that don't turn the ball over, so you're not going to get a bunch of free plays because of turnovers.
Hold on the return, backs up Montreal, so Fajardo from his own end zone throws this one over the top. Between coverage. How on earth did Cole Speaker get that open in between three green and gold bodies?
You get these sometimes. You try to flip the field when you're back. Right, let's take an all-20 look picture. Let me show you. He's right here. He's going to run up. He's going to run out. They're going to clear out to take the top off the coverage, and then he's going to wheel back up the sideline. See there, it's what you call a wheel route or a vertical stretch. Great throw, great high hands by Speaker to make the catch. You flip the field with one big play and get great field position.
And keep flipping it here across the 55 and more. Walter Fletcher all the way down to the Edmonton 45-yard line. As they continue to get chunk plays to open things up, it'll go for 19 yards to Walter Fletcher.
Really good block at the point of attack right here. You'll see Donnie Ventrilli from North Dakota. He helps create this seam to be able to get Fletcher loose for this big run. Great lower body strength. Really good run. That's the way to flip the field. They're already in field goal range with 2 football plays.
Well, they empty things out with Walter Fletcher as a receiver. 3-by-3 they go. Cody looks right, comes back left. Cole Speaker gets another touch after a really quiet first half. Speaker taking his turn in this Montreal receiving group.
You love this call. They're at a 52-yard field goal at this area of the field. What do? Call a quick middle screen, so you don't worry about Sean Oakman rushing after me. I can just go ahead and throw to Speaker, get some linemen out in front of him, get 8 yards for the first down. This is what they love to do. Call as many screens as possible, create short yardage situations.
Jason Moss obviously made some adjustments and trying to dial those changes up here on the first drive for Montreal. Successful so far. They'll fake the run. Fajardo loads it up now, checks it down underneath Fletcher. Can he turn the corner? No. Great tackle. Nick Anderson adds another to his season tally. And it will be a first down.
Max protection on a second and short, trying to get a shot downfield. He recognizes that, hey, the best thing for me to do here, short yardage, just throw the check down to Fletcher so he can get north-south and get that first down.
What a great shot from our crew right there. You can actually see Fajardo working his way 1 to 2, that the eyes were moving, and he perfectly timed it up with Fletcher snapping his head around to go and get the first down. Maximum protection here once again. Cody, all sorts of trouble, and just has to get this one away as Fajardo takes a big pop, and it'll fall incomplete.
You get pressure on both sides. Again, they got a screen pass called again. The most screen passes called in CFL, but Anderson, I believe, is there to recognize that we're going to play action, we're going to block edges, and then flip back to Fletcher. Sometimes it's hard, those players from the front side of the field, it's hard to get them picked up on the screens back to the other side. Really nice play.
Got a feeling that's not going to be a fun one to watch for a young fullback room right there with David Dallaire and Jacob Mason crossing wires a little bit. So it's 2nd and 10. And Fajardo stands in, gets hit again. Oh, no! Cole Speaker, 10-5, touchdown! 33 big ones to Cole Speaker, 3rd catch of the drive.
Pressure to Cody Fajardo. He's hit as he's about to throw the football, but throws a strike for the touchdown. You see a 4-man rush as he climbs to get the ball off. There's a hit by Noah Curtis. Once again on a twist. But Speaker on the crossing route on the post in the middle of the field. Great throw and catch and opportunity.
They'll stay in with the offense here for the 2-point conversion. 6 plays, 100 yards. Right on the dollar bill right there. 3:16 it took, but that was the length of the field. And Jason Moss putting it together. What's he going to call here for a 2-point conversion? Protects. Austin Mack with a fade ball. Couldn't hang on to it. Cut off end zone there, not giving him any favors. Back at Percival Molson, but Austin Mack open and drops that one. Could have been valuable. Cole Speaker, 3 catches, 77 yards, all on this drive, and punctuates it in the end zone.
Very honored to be standing next to Sonny Wade here. 50 years.
I'm sorry, I can hardly hear you. 1974,
your team back here. Sonny, how special has it been to be hoisting that Grey Cup and be with the group again?
What I have enjoyed most is the enthusiasm that the football team has, the city has. Everyone is all excited about what they've done and what they can be.
Let's go back to that 1974 game, a rainy day in Vancouver. He came off the bench and got it done. You were saying that group felt like underdogs going into that game because of how good Edmonton was. How were you able to do that through the 70s, get these wins for the Alouettes?
It's a good question. A lot of luck involved, but in 74, we were down 10 to nothing. The momentum was all on Edmonton's side. We got a couple of turnovers. We're able to take advantage of those turnovers, get some points, and we went on to a fairly well-earned victory.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenzie. Thank you as well to Sonny for hanging out here, having a great time at halftime and soaking up the 2024 Alouettes as this one rifled into traffic and nearly intercepted. Sonny will be shaking his head at McLeod, ripping one into traffic there, Lapo.
Yeah, I think he just feels like, I think there's going to be enough space here and I can get this ball into Gino on the inside. They're going to come in right here. As they do a little quick inside zone fake, Gino comes into the middle of the field. But really good push by Sutton's in a good position. Wesley Sutton to be right there.
David Foucault's eyes got real big, real fast. Saw the tip and he thought he might go get it for a big man catch. Falls incomplete, 2nd and 10. But Thompson, this one tipped at the line of scrimmage. And back-to-back incompletions. Isaac Adeyemi Berglund celebrates once again alongside Antonio Moultrie, his 2nd knockdown of the ball game.
Yeah, you got a quarterback who's accurate. The quarterback's going to throw the ball quickly. You know he's going to get it out of his hands. Moultrie puts himself in a position, to say, hey, I'm just going to throw my hand up. Moultrie's got his 5th week on the roster. He's got 10 tackles this season. But that's part of the process. Hey, if we can't get to him, just throw your hands up, knock the ball down.
This guy's been dangerous all season long. James Letcher Jr. stands back. Wonder if he's got something to change the tenor of this game right now with Edmonton holding on for dear life. Letcher catches it on the run, tries to turn the corner after a 42-yard punch. Great special teams tackle. It looks like he was Edeva Maga Clements down there, the global. But back in 74, these Alouettes in those sharp uniforms that are being honored tonight. Incredible accomplishment, and great to have them back here at Percival Molson Stadium this evening. Very successful drive we just witnessed for the Montreal Alouettes to open up this 2nd half. Cole Speaker plays the hero, but a little bit of everything from everyone in red, white, and blue tonight.
100-yard drive, and that's what you want to do when you're at your own 10-yard line. Try to get one explosive play to flip the field, get a couple of runs, hit Cole Speaker, get the big play for the touchdown. So that's a huge momentum flip. Get your fans and your defense involved.
Hard count, and they'll hand it off right down the pipe. And getting the rare carry to the fullback, David Dallaire, out of Laval, gets a touch here, mixing things up.
They've been doing a lot of things, as they keep trying to figure out using all their athletes to touch the football. You saw last week they also got James Letcher a couple of runs last week in situations, and he tried to throw the football last week. So they're utilizing all their personnel through week to week.
Well, Jason Moss never afraid to open up the playbook and change things on the fly. Doing a little bit of that here tonight. Fajardo, it's a three-man rush, gets it out. Austin Mack not on the same page on that one. Was that just coming out of the break on a curl route the wrong angle?
Well, he came out on a curl and Cody threw it like it was an outcut, so not sure what happened there. We'll talk it through and get it sorted out. Jason, it seems to be not sure what happened either.
Moss not happy about miscommunication between Austin Mack and Cody Fajardo as they both return here to the lineup tonight. Only trailing by 5, but lots of points and yards left on the table to this point as Edmonton comes after this punt a little bit. Joseph Zima hooks it down inside the 15-yard line. Returned by Gavin Cobb, young Canadian out of the University of Manitoba. And a 51-yard punt that brings it back to the 40-yard line. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever will face Eastern Conference rivals, the Atlanta Dream, tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on TSN as the WNBA rolls along. My question, is Caitlin Clark ever going to have a day where she's not playing basketball? That was crazy to me that she went straight from March Madness into the WNBA, no rest.
Yeah. Jerry's one of the things he really, I loved it when he talked about this week. One of the things he wanted to do is make sure we started slowing practice down. We'll talk a little bit more after this play about it.
Well, they go with the heavies again. The extra offensive linemen in as fullbacks. Getting back to what worked so well in that first half.
And what previously had done under Chris Jones was called the double-barreled. So when they had one pass skeleton going or one team period, the ones went, and then they turned around, and then the second group went. And you get a lot of reps that way. But Jerry's just felt, we got so many young players, we're not teaching them well enough. So we need to slow it down. They stopped doing the double barrels. They added more meeting time so they could coach these younger players. And the results have been very good for him the last few weeks.
Well, certainly a 3-game winning streak here after beginning 0-7. Von Bethel-Thompson, Montreal shows pressure, bail out. He gets it out of his hands anyway. Hurts makes the grab. And they rally to the football. That looks more like Montreal Alouettes defense that we've seen throughout the start of this 9-1 campaign.
Yeah, and defensively, this unit has only allowed 5 30-plus completions all season. So they love doing this. Hey, we're going to drop people out. We're going to run to the football. We're not going to give up big plays. We're going to force you to throw it sideline side, and we'll bring you down. And they tackle so well.
Jake Julian ready to send it away. Midway point of the third quarter here in Montreal as James Letcher Jr. heads fast as he possibly can to try to get to the wall, set up that wide field return, and takes a big hit at the end of the play as they fight for the football, but James Letcher Jr. trying to get there. Round and round we go in Montreal. 17-12 Elks lead. James Letcher Jr. standout returner. You get the sense he's getting close in this ball game. Well, he has the ability to take it all the way. When I say all the way, I do mean the entire way down the field. 128 yards.
On the road in Saskatchewan, you need help sometimes to win those difficult games, and certainly he showed up, made plays to spark that team in the second half. No different than Cole Speaker has started to create a spark for this team.
Tied for the 7th longest in CFL history with that 128-yard missed field goal return. As Letcher had a couple more to go until maybe one day catches up to Speedy B. Brandon Banks, leader in CFL history with missed field goal touchdown returns with 5.
Yeah, and like I said before, that they utilized him in some other ways. It is nice to see them having the ability to go, okay, we get enough first downs where I can build a little package for him so we can get him in and do some things, give him one of these screen passes they run so much. So now you're just putting a speed athlete in space.
Alouettes break the huddle here. 5 receivers available. 4-man rush. Fajardo checks down underneath. Walter Fletcher Making people miss in the open field. The wheels are turning. And Fletcher pushed out of bounds, but not until another huge play from Walter Fletcher in the passing game. Been huge for the Alouettes this season.
He leads the Canadian Football League in yards after catch. Everybody lifts in zone. What do? You throw it out to him in space. He makes Jackson miss. And I always say this to the quarterbacks, you're never going to go broke putting money in the bank. Can't find anything. I'm going to get it to a guy who makes people miss. This is the leading YAC team in the Canadian Football League. Get him the football.
And that's because of that man right there, Fajardo, on 1st and 10 as a flag comes out. And Fajardo heading towards the sideline, bumped out of bounds, and that's going to be unnecessary roughness as our camera crew and sound group down there gets banged into the billboards as well.
If you're close to if he's close to the sideline, if he's running to that space, just let him go out of bounds. You don't want to be close. You don't want to be close to create that opportunity. The officials are going to protect the quarterback as he's running to the sideline like that. Just not a good penalty for them.
Niles Morgan in some discomfort on that sideline as well. As we look back here, it looks like it's going to be a holding call, easy one there against the Alouettes, but then this at the end of the play changes everything, and then
holding Montreal number 65.
Kai Gray gets tangled up with Niles Morgan.
Number 5. The balance is 5 yards.
The thing with the quarterbacks who run a lot, Marshall, that's the thing you have to be cautious of. Sometimes quarterbacks who run too much tend to get holding calls because the ball's not out quickly, but this is certainly just not a smart play by Gray. You can't do this.
And our crew didn't realize.
Went down. Hope they're all right.
I was going to say our crew didn't realize that they were going to be competing tonight. As Niles Morgan remains down. That was a nasty collision between Kai Gray and Niles Morgan along the sideline there. High speed.
Just getting up.
And glad to see him. Yeah, up onto his feet. Etavamaga Clements, the global there, helps him up onto his feet, and the Edmonton defense offset things through the penalty. So there's Joel DeBlanco stepping in out of the University of Cincinnati, playing some linebacker.
Big athletic linebacker.
Yeah. Really impressed everyone at the combine. Goes first overall. He's on the field here as Cody Fajardo goes back to work. Flips this one inside, complete. And Cole Speaker adds to his tally on the night as Fajardo had to fit that one into a real tight window.
Cody does an excellent use of his legs. As the end recovers on the zone read, what does he do? He sets up, knows I got a quick throw, gets that accurate throw with somebody in his face.
Pays the price again as he gets hit. Now Fajardo rolling to his left, thought about backhand shoveling it. High steps away from a tackler from behind. And gets the yardage with his legs. First down for the Alouettes, and all of a sudden, this kind of feels like a Cody Fajardo football game as they're trailing by 5, and he's just kind of scratching and clawing and trying to get his team back into the lead.
Yeah, when things, you know, the defensive ends have done a really good job today of pressuring him, but he's stepping up into the pocket and back out, escaping to give them opportunities. Nice first down, 10-yard gain, put them in really close field goal range now.
Fajardo with that fresh set of downs that he got using his legs, something he does so well. Faces 5-man pressure, and now has to roll it to his left, looks down the field, dumps this one back underneath, and Walter Fletcher will get what looks like a second down. Just a little bit shy, but the playbook wide open here inside the 30-yard line. Lapo after Fajardo once again creating with his legs.
A little bit of pressure on the inside, but they lose Fletcher in this check down, so Fletcher is always, it's always great to have somebody as I start to escape. And then the problem of having a mobile quarterback is if one player takes the quarterback.
Oh, Fajardo takes the short yardage, loads it up, aims it for the back of the end zone, incomplete. No flags down on the play, so mentioned the playbook was wide open. You had to think 2nd and 1, that part of the field, that Montreal might get aggressive with it. They did.
Yeah, I love these calls because the first thing you
used to do this all the time in Winnipeg, right?
Because look, right now there's no deep safety. So on 2nd and 1, you convert 95% of all your third ones, if not 99. So I always wanted to make on 2nd and 1, how many yards do we get at the end of the season? Because it's easy to get the first down. Now you got 3rd and 1, get the opportunity. Just talk about reserve the right to wedge. If anything goes wrong, get past the line. Make sure the ball gets past the line of scrimmage so I still have a 3rd and 1 situation after the fact.
How about this look? They line up with Dylan Wynn in the backfield. Dominic Davis in at quarterback, short yardage.
So that's why you get the opportunity. 2nd and 1, hey, make sure we throw the football away if something happens so you can take the shots, get the explosive, because we'll get it the very next play.
Dominic Davis picks it up, and then a little extra action at the end of the play.
Not a lot of... The Elks are doing some of the things they did early in the season with some bad penalties that are hurting their success.
5, Montreal 98. Those penalties offset. It's first down.
2 misconducts already. And that's some of what happened early in the season with this football team. I thought defensively, the last 4 weeks, they've been really good defensively. They haven't given up big plays. Early in the season, they gave up a bunch of big plays. They've been able to take the ball away the last couple of weeks, but you just can't have some of the things that happened early in the season for this team.
Yeah, Niles Morgan getting it into it with Dylan Wynn, and Jesse Gibbon, offensive lineman from Waterloo, right in the middle of the fray. Saying, what did I do? Well, it's a fresh set of downs. Here comes Fajardo over the top, throws it right to the back of the end zone. Did he hang on to it? Cole Speaker? Why not? 2 second-half touchdowns
on the short end zone too, Marshall. That's an amazing catch. The story of this drive is Cody Fajardo using his legs. This is great. Flip it, go around. You always try to talk to the quarterbacks about when I have a free throw, take the look downfield first. He sees Speaker get behind the defense because everybody thinks you're going to check it down. So great vision and an unbelievable catch right there.
Well, the ball placement, one-footed, just like earlier.
Great ball placement, getting his 1 foot in bound. There it is. Look at this look right there.
Bang.
That's spectacular. Now, you have to survive contact. Everything there shows that he survived contact to make the touchdown. This is Speaker, the half of Speaker.
A little road rash from the track maybe there on the outside as well. Fajardo, they'll go for 2. Once again, deeper drop. Man-to-man coverage, fights back to the football, incomplete. And so they will not be able to cash in once again. But 18-17, Montreal retakes the lead on this, the Cole Speaker toe tap in front of Bynum. And Fajardo's fired up in his return to the lineup for the Alouettes. ...87 yards in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And this man, just 5 catches tonight all the second half. 107 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 5 catches. Wild.
And one of the things you're always practicing once a week is doing this. High catch, high hands over the top so you can see the ball into your hands, and then what you call a toe tap. You kind of keep 1 foot in bounds. That's a drill you do with your receivers all the time. Amazing play. Yes, this has been the half of Cole Speaker.
How casually CFL receivers can get that foot down, especially on that cutoff end zone. Always amazes me. Is right down the middle. A big return here. Dylan Mitchell gets it up close to the 50-yard line.
It's interesting to see Dylan Mitchell filling in with Javon Leak down and you know, getting an opportunity to do some of that. Gavin Cobb had a nice return also early in the game.
They got lots of options, right? The return game doesn't feel like the thing that's been holding them back at various points. 39 yards for Dylan Mitchell that time. So with 3:06 remaining here in the third, and Cole Speaker in a celebratory mood with Keon Julian Grant and Tyson Philpott. Imagine if those guys get back healthy and in the lineup alongside Speaker, Austin Mack getting on the same page. Montreal, tons and tons of weapons at their disposal.
And you want Edmonton to get their run game going. 3 rushing yards in the third quarter.
Caught up with Thompson quickly this time. Speaking of great Canadian receivers, Curly Gittens Jr. makes the grab, and Wesley Sutton sits him down.
Wesley Sutton really good. Out in the flat, balls out quick, just rally up, make the tackle. Keep it to a minimal gain. Wesley Sutton's got 6 knockdowns this season. Playing that boundary halfback spot. And that's a hard place to play over there in the boundary half because you got to sometimes play high, you got to play low. Sometimes you have to play up as a free safety, so you got to have a really intelligent player over at that boundary halfback spot.
Great athlete too, Wesley Sutton, being able to shift all over the place. 5 receivers from the 5 double. Thompson pressure. Oh, down he goes! A sack attack for Jeffrey Canton-Arcou.
Once again, the twist game is what is getting them, all right? They are doing this, and Canton-Arcou is going to come all the way around. Why you do that? You're trying to get your alignment on different levels, and that's what happened as he twists around. They lose sight of him, and he shows up in the quarterback's face before he can throw the football. So this twist game by this defense is what's affecting the Edmonton Elks offensive line.
Canton-Arcou is getting scary good at just getting lost in
so
the fray.
Fast.
Yeah.
So when he comes around the edge of defense, it's better to use a linebacker than a defensive lineman because it's so hard to adjust to begin with, but then you have a speed player adjusting.
That's a junior on the return here, makes 2 men miss, and then wrapped up and brought down. Jeffrey Canton-Arcou grinding away on special teams as well, gets his second here this evening and had some pressure earlier as well on McLeod Bethel Thompson. He just kind of gets lost in the shuffle though, and then he's just his burst to finish him.
Yeah,
pretty special.
You want to have, that's part of what this defense do. They have so many excellent linebackers, so sometimes they like to play with a 3-man front, and then it's way better to utilize those speed athletes in all their drops. They're showing the blitzes and then their twist game. And you could see that the offensive line got lost, couldn't react back to the twist.
Jardo starts this drive with a handoff to Walter Fletcher. Not going anywhere as Fletcher continues to get lots and lots of attention in the offensive play calling, and Kevin Anderson's doing everything he can to catch up with 25 as we look at Cody Fajardo's numbers so far throughout this second half. Slowing down a little bit from the pace that he had earlier on the season, but that long drive that he had with the completions to Cole Speaker putting him right back on pace as Edmonton all out pressure. Fajardo gets blasted, throws it high and far. Charleston Rambo in front of the Edmonton bench as the Elks are saying that he pushed off, but man, Fajardo once again, just like the Speaker touchdown, Lapo stands in, gets rocked, and delivers an absolute dime.
The difficult of what happens here, I'm going to show you this. See this, all these players are up close at the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be where he throws. But when you're this close to the line of scrimmage, when you're going to play man like this and pressure, the quarterback knows where to throw the football. He took his matchup to Rambo to the wide side of the field and makes the play.
They flip it out, get a completion to Nate Bahar once again. Let's get another look at that. You're right, because it was just the one free safety high, and Fajardo knows he's going to get absolutely destroyed, and man, he had to earn every bit of this.
Yeah, you know, you're hoping one of the Edmonton defenders makes one person miss, and that's what happened, but he got the ball out of his hands. That's why you got to throw it immediately. Jackson couldn't make a play. He's running with him. Rambo's in a good spot. And we talked about it this week. He worked a lot this offseason on being a better deep ball thrower because it's something he struggled with last year.
Huge part of why Fajardo started the season so hot. Now he gets Austin Mack into the mix.
Nice catch. Austin Mack there.
Yep, down around the 15-yard line. And the Alouettes, after a struggle to get things going in the first half, all of a sudden, third quarter, picking it up. Cole Speaker with a huge third quarter. A pair of touchdowns. Austin Mack back in rhythm as well. And they have the lead. Headed to the fourth. -2 net yards in that third quarter. 256 yards. All of a sudden, the Alouettes look like the Alouettes from the early season. What happened here, Lapo? How is this possible after the first half we watched? Feels like a completely different game.
It's the big plays. What they've done all season long, better than anyone else. They've hit a bunch of big plays. Cole Speaker's got 3 or 4 of them just in this half alone, and defensively they found a way to stop this run for the Elks. So really impressive. Now, interesting thing, Edmonton, Montreal, 3 of the last 4 games came down, Marshall, to the last final 3 minutes, so they'll be interesting to see. And I was really surprised to see that 6 out of the last 7 times these teams have played, that the Elks have beat Montreal in Montreal. It's pretty impressive.
A lot of success coming east. Montreal has had a ton of success going west this year, undefeated on the road. Their only loss here against the Double Blue, the Toronto Argonauts, earlier this year. As Fajardo, deep drop, trying to get to the backside and set up a screen. Now he'll just run it himself, gets tackled from behind as his legs were clipped out by Elliott Brown, you mentioned earlier on. Great athlete at that front seven.
He's going to chase you down.
Yeah.
Right? Second on the team with 3 sacks. And his, I know the coaches really love this player, and they just felt that he's got the ability to, he's going to be able to be somebody that's good in the league, rushing the passer and chasing from behind as Cody gets flushed out of the pocket.
Brown with his 4th sack, matching the season tally of Jeffrey Canton-Arcud, who we talked about from the Alouettes. Fajardo on 2nd and 14 after the sack. Over the middle and intercepted. They drove on it, and it's another interception as whistles blow. Oh, and they'll say incomplete. Darius Bratton going for a run down the sideline, but the official on field waving incomplete. We'll get another look at it for you at home.
Bratton has 2 interceptions already this season, 2 fumble recoveries. He's got 4 takeaways. He's been a good young player at boundary halfback. We'll take a look. Yeah, the ball, it looks like in that angle, possible ball hits the ground.
Oh, and Jarius just got out the cannon. Jarius Jackson just threw the challenge flag like he was throwing a Nerf ball 150 yards for his dog in the backyard.
So, sometimes that's why you are sometimes trying to wait to see all the angles and everything you see.
Edmonton is challenging the ruling of an incomplete pass. The play will be reviewed.
So whether he did not see enough angles from upstairs.
Yeah, somebody upstairs gave him the call, but
maybe a little too early because the second angle certainly showed.
We'll get the defining look on it for you here. There's also an injured Elk down on the field amidst all the chaos of trying to sort out the interception, and that is not an interception.
And that is sometimes the hard pain, as being somebody who's been on the sideline like Jarius has, is sometimes you don't have a good enough angle. Obviously in this case you do, but sometimes you're looking at plays and you're like, well, do you have it, guys? Do you have it? And you're trusting the guys upstairs at whether they have it or not. And sometimes you just don't get enough angles in time. And a lot of teams will try to go tempo or something when you're trying to challenge something, so they're going to go fast.
So they've taken a look at it in the command center. Dave Foxcroft, the replay official here this evening. Tim Croker has the call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It's an incomplete pass. Edmonton, by losing a challenge, has lost a timeout. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, you'd like also the player to, if maybe the player had an understanding that the ball touched the ground, you could maybe help Jarius there.
The irrational confidence of a defensive back on display for all here in Montreal as Jose Maltos comes out from 26 yards away, trying to tag on a 3rd triple of the night and extend Montreal's lead. That kick is true and through. 13:44 remains here in the 4th quarter. Jarius Jackson wishing he had that challenge back. It's just a 4-point ball game here late. NFL TSM will be back on Labor Day weekend as the Red Blacks take on the Lions, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. And the party goes west this year. Jealous of everybody who gets to go experience that wonderful event in a world-class place.
Amazing, amazing night.
Looking forward to seeing the Lions kind of bounce back. Ottawa on fire right now for a victory at home. As the running game churns away, Justin Rankin gets the touch that time. Tyrese Beverett always at the bottom of the pile.
Getting 5 yards, putting themselves in a real manageable spot here.
Jarius with that challenge that didn't work out for him, but as I said just a minute ago, trailing by 4, has possession. Held Montreal to just a field goal. And Todd Bethel Thompson trying to dial it up in a comeback here. This time goes to Curly Gittens Jr. Extends the football forward, just making sure he had the first down. He does.
It's their first down of the second half, Marshall, but it's just so hard with McLeod Bethel Thompson. Montreal does what they do. They walk a bunch of people at the line of scrimmage, drop people out, but he already knows where the soft spot is in the defense, and he takes the throw on the 2nd and 5. And again, there's going to be holes on a defense in the zone. You just got to be able to find where they are.
Samson Arculu watches on from the sideline here on 1st and 10. Extra offensive lineman in for the Elks. They'll go quick game outside. And a completion. Little RPO action, call the run, sling it outside.
Good call, former quarterback. I love this. So their adjustment in Edmonton is like, hey, we're going to add more people to run the football, but if Montreal adds people, you're going to have a one-on-one outside, McLeod. Go ahead and throw it on the perimeter. That is a run play, everybody, but they have what's called the kill, where you throw the ball in case there's too many people at the line of scrimmage. So great recognition, great game planning. To be able to attack this Montreal defense.
McLeod makes that look easy, but 2 seconds before the snap comes up, his brain's going a million miles an hour. And this time he'll just turn around and hand it straight off.
Well, and sometimes the tailback's not sure. What I thought I was getting the ball, right? Yeah. You got to kind of teach him, hey, if he turns away, when he turns away, make sure you just keep diving, get out of the way of the quarterback as he's throwing the football.
Gain of 5, picks up another first down here. They'll move the sticks with Rankin. Darnell Sankey right there as well. Gets up a little gingerly, but back on his feet. One of the best middle linebackers in the Canadian Football League, having to earn his paycheck here tonight against the inside running game of the Edmonton Elks. Trying to churn away a little bit of clock, and
I can't believe that guy was a free agent in September of last year. It's amazing, amazing pick by Dana Machocha.
Doesn't feel possible, does it? As this one completed, once again, Tevin Jones working in that slot back spot, and that'll go for a gain of 12. Another Edmonton first down.
Tevin Jones has been, was this organization with Montreal in training camp, gets released, and actually the coaches on defense for the Elks had said, hey, listen, where's Tevin Jones? Because we hated going against him when he was in Saskatchewan. When we saw him in practice all the time, we felt he was an impressive football player. So credit to the Elks defense coaches for trying to get him into the building. And he's been great. He leads the Canadian Football League in deep catches this season, or yards per catch. Been really good.
Kevin Brown back into the ball game here. Behind McLeod Bethel Thompson. Hard count. No flags come up. Brown gets the touch. Gets tracked down from behind. And as much as they're trying to stretch Tyrese Beverett and Darnell Sankey sideline to sideline and then pound it up in between the tackles, once in a while, Beverett's just going to go make a play because he's that guy.
He's coming off the backside of the screen. You can see him right here chasing the play all the way across. And as the play gets stretched out, once you put your foot in the ground to turn back, he's going to be right there to make the play. You got to sometimes control that edge with some extra people, or else he's going to run down and try to make the play.
Tyrese Beverett does not miss often, especially if he's a free runner like that from the backside. The loss of 1, 2nd and 11. McLeod Bethel Thompson misses in behind the intended receiver. That was Gino Lewis. Kevian Ento there to supply the coverage.
Really good coverage. Drop back into zone, have somebody right there to make it a difficult throw and catch to the wide side of the field. Puts them in a field goal range. Get back to a 1-point game. Ento is an amazing athlete. I'll tell you, he reminds me of Brandon Stewart, if you remember back in the day, somebody I coached. And why? Because Ento went to the Green Bay Packers as a receiver, and they said, hey, we want you to try to learn defensive back. That's the same thing, I believe, Coach Barker, Jim Barker, brought Brandon Stewart into the Canadian Football League in Calgary, and then he eventually went to Winnipeg and finished in Hamilton. Big, tall athletes, put him to the wide side of the field as a corner.
Cover a lot of ground with guys like that. 41-yard attempt here for Boris Beatty. And he's going to miss. And a long field goal return potentially here for James Letcher Jr. Did it against the Riders, gets posted out of bounds. And that is a win for the Montreal Alouettes. as they not only hold on to their 4-point advantage, their defense is making plays with Tyrese Beverett just like this, and the return game setting their offense up for another possession when we return. Cole Speaker, you don't have to charge him up. He's always ready to make big, loud plays.
5 catches, 107 yards, two touchdowns. Amazing. Give him deep balls, give him underneath balls, let him run with the ball in his hands and make spectacular catches in the back of the end zone. Pretty impressive football player.
Horizontal handoff here goes to Walter Fletcher as Montreal again mixes and matches their personnel sets, but yeah.
He's got 3 of their explosive plays, and that's, again, when you have an explosive play, that's when touchdowns happen.
Yep.
So he's been the catalyst for this team, and Cody Fajardo also. He's been very accurate with his throws downfield, made some plays. And again, Cole Speaker, I can't say, you know, I love my Division III football players. Wisconsin lacrosse, Division III guy, do an outstanding job.
Fajardo wanted to take a deep shot to Speaker once again. Then he kind of sidearms this one out towards the sideline. And Charleston Rambo and Kai Gray go back and forth, but Speaker was getting eyed up there for what could have been a 70-yard gain. This time it just goes for 7.
Yeah, this is what you would call a stutter play, where he's going to run a dig, and then he starts to run in, and then he goes upfield. He got him, but the protection, the problem with some of these plays that the protection can break down, but Cody did a perfect thing. Slid outside, go to the outside. You're always going to have an outside throw in case that's covered or not open. Excellent first down throw, excellent mobility by Cody.
Gray going for the punch out there as this Edmonton defense would love to create a turnover. This time they'll shovel it back inside, trapped down in behind, all over it. Niles Morgan.
So I think Danny Machocha probably has a smile on his face. This is one of his staples. Back, years ago when I came in the league and Danny Machocha was an offense coordinator, he loved these shovel plays, and you've seen these run from Montreal the last couple weeks. It's as that end comes up to play the quarterback, it's an upside down option. You can just flip it to the running back coming on a course to get the ball. So as they go wide to get Cody, you just flip it to your running back.
It's all great when you play the mind games with the DN, but somebody's got to block the middle linebacker, right? Flying in from the backside there. Niles Morgan all over it, identified it. As they'll rush 5 here on Fajardo. Gets outside the pocket once again, points down the field, and is wrapped up and tackled. As it looks like that's Noah Taylor.
And this is a dangerous play because Edmonton was going to play. They played man coverage. So if Cody got out of this, this was going to be a big run. So a really good tracking from the backside and chasing. We've talked all night about Noah Taylor and these defensive ends. He can really run. First-year player to UNC. Only 225 pounds, but he's got the ability to run people down.
And the length, right? I mean, 6'5".
Yeah, amazing.
Long arms and high. I mean, he is an incredible athlete. So Montreal has to send it away after the Noah Taylor sack on Cody Fajardo. The Elks get another possession here in the 4th quarter, or will they need the offense? Jeffrey Canton-Arcu can't bring down Gavin Kopp. Isaac Adeyemi Berglund misses as well. And at the end of the play, pushed out of bounds, but all the way up at the 49-yard line. Edmonton trailing by 4 with 5:36 remaining here in the 4th quarter. They get the football back thanks to Noah Taylor wrapping up Fajardo in his return to the lineup in Montreal. The rushing game gone away. We saw Noel Thorpe on the whiteboard before they even got into the locker room at halftime. Clearly, whatever he was trying to work his way through appears to have been working here, as Edmonton going for a 4-game winning streak. The last time they did that was a 6-game win streak across 2017-18. The last 5 games of 2017 plus 1, but Montreal picking it up in the second half with the run defense. Clearly, based on those numbers, there's a big collision here. Jeffrey Canton-Arcu on Kevin Jones.
Yeah, when you go in at halftime, you're going to go, all right, what are we seeing what we're supposed to see? Okay, we are seeing is what we've been calling working? No? Okay, what are we going to do? How do we adjust? You get together with your coaches, then get with the players and say, hey, here are the 2 or 3 things from Montreal. I really think they're doing a little bit more pressure. but they're really just running to the ball very well, and they're playing their gaps better. You heard them talk, Tyrese Beverett talk about it at halftime. We got to just do a better job in our gaps to stop the run, which they have.
Dakota Prukop in with the short yardage team. Leans his way to the right-hand side, maybe on second effort. Could pick up the first down, but man, the next 4:35 in this ball game, it is chess, not checkers. There's a lot of moving pieces, personnel packages, schemes, coaches trying to outdo each other with great design, and then you just got to go out and execute here as Dakota Prukop just puts his head down and pushes forward. They haven't signaled yet.
And it's, you know, the reason you do this is because you don't want to hand the ball backwards on 2nd and 2 and lose yards. You're going to get at least 1 yard. You're either going to get the first down on 2nd and 2 or you're going to get the 3rd and 1. So you get the opportunity to go for it on 3rd and 1 here. So expect more of the same. An off tackle right over the center quarterback sneak.
To the top of the McGill logo here in Montreal, Dakota Prukop. From the right hash, takes the snap, leans his way to the right, and follows the exact same roadmap that he did on 2nd down to pick up the first on 3rd.
And I do like some of the adjustments. We were saying Edmonton hasn't run the ball very well. Well, part of the reason they haven't run the ball very well is because they've thrown the ball on running plays, Marshall. So that's what happens sometimes when you're trying to, we have to add pass plays or RPOs to some of the run game. That's going to take away from what you're trying to do in the run game. And Jerry's looking at that sheet, trying to figure it out. Prukop's like, I'm good. You want me to throw it on 2nd and 1 next time? Let me know. I'm ready for it.
Motion Jacob Zott across. Both the backs are in here for Edmonton. McLeod Bethel-Thompson hands it off. It goes to Kevin Brown. All the way down to the 40-yard line. On second effort, they'll say he was down a yard or two shy, but at the 3-minute warning, we got another close game winding down this week across the Canadian Football League. Kevin Brown, could he have a game-winning touchdown? Our friends down in the States, including all of your favorite Labor Day Classic matchups. But we got a great one to wind down week number 12 right here. And we'll hand it off to Kevin Brown once again on 2nd and 2. He gets the first down, and now you have to wonder, okay, Jarius has been leaning on the running game. He said he wanted to run the football. He told us that this week. Had a lot of success with it, Lapo. They've started to slow things down in this second half. The calls between now and the end of this ball game, he's going to be thinking about them for the remainder of this week leading into the Labor Day Classic.
Yeah, and it's just so hard for a defense. I don't care how good you are defensively. 2nd and 2, what are you going to, it's very hard to stop those tight inside zone runs. You saw Curly Gittins Jr. as a backside edge player who's really blocking well for them this season.
Keeping the extra offensive lineman, Kevin Brown, to 102 yards to the outside. Hurts digs that one out of the turf. Down at the 24-yard line, complete. And that will be another Edmonton first down.
Mayala gets an opportunity for a one-on-one because you'll see everybody in trying to stop the run. You get a big one-on-one matchup, you fake it, and then go, I've got free access. What does that mean? Nobody impeding me. I can run up and break out to the sideline. Excellent bringing his body down to make this catch a little bit underthrown. That's a way to get a first down on first down, keep the chains moving, and get close to the opportunity for the touchdown for the win.
Never say never. There's Edmonton. Little flip inside, Curly Gittins Jr. on the pop pass, turns north-south, gets some great yardage that time, down to the 12-yard line as Curly turns on the Jets.
This is the first time I've seen this all night, and it's a misdirection play. And I mean, like everybody's going to be going this way, but then they flip the ball, going the opposite direction. You're trying to misdirect, get everybody chase those two pullers, and then you hand it the other way. Good recovery by Montreal, but then because they separated the defense, he can get north-south and get 10-yard gain.
Sustained drive here against the Montreal crowd noise from McLeod Bethel-Thompson and the Elks. A lean on the ground game once again. Darnell Sankey there to finish things off after a wall of defensive linemen did their job. at the point of attack, and they'll separate Kevin Brown here and Darnell Sankey. Go back to their sidelines and set up shop for a crucial call for both sides.
That's the big boys, Mustafa Johnson, Sankey in there saying, hey, we're going to beat our blocks. I get you're going to run up inside. We're going to make our play, forcing a 2nd and 10 here.
Montreal defense, one of the best in the CFL in so many categories, but they just got to execute the next couple of snaps against McLeod Bethel Thompson. He looks to the back of the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Gino Lewis. Already scored 1 in that end zone here tonight. Deontay Ruffin, significantly undersized.
Not a bad decision. Take your best football player, your tallest football player. If you have a one-on-one with him, try to give him an opportunity in the back of the end zone. Just a little bit too much on it. And it's also hard in some of these Montreal end zones that are
route for him. Yeah, absolutely. Forced the issue there, but not enough contact. And so 3rd and 10. Head coach Darius Jackson will go. Calling the shots to McLeod Bethel Thompson. McLeod looks right. Underneath. Caught. But it is short. And Eugene Lewis on the receiving end will have to take the long walk back to his bench here as Montreal regains possession.
Montreal at the end of the game, what are they going to do? They're going to rush forward, try to play zone coverage. There's a throw underneath. Not at the sticks before Mustafa Johnson can get there. Not going to get what you need for the first down.
Darius disappointed not being able to get a shot, at least into scoring territory, and Noel Thorpe fired up on the Montreal sideline. Honestly, a pretty difficult night considering how charmed things have been for the Montreal defense all year.
You know, the thing that's been a struggle is, you know, Edmonton's got the worst field goal percentage in the league. That Boris Beatty missed that field goal really hurts them. They would have been kicking a field goal for the win there at that point. So they just get hurt by the missed field goal.
Montreal going to try to finish this one off on their own terms and not give the football back to Edmonton. Again, it's one of those things where you have to remind yourself, okay, minute 19, 4-point game. They just got a stop on first down, and here we go.
Yep, clock will stop again, and then it'll start. But it'll stop after every play, but then be restarted.
You look at that huddle and think about the stories of the night. Cole Speaker, huge night with 2 touchdowns. Austin Mack back in the lineup here. Nate Bahar been really, really good for them over the middle.
Cody Fajardo continuing to take those shots downfield and locate it.
And will they take a shot or try to burn a little bit more clock? They will throw almost from his end zone. Fajardo gets it away, rips it, back shoulder, and out of bounds. Incomplete. He was looking for Austin Mack down that right sideline. And so now the Alouettes with an interesting dynamic backed up with the ball spotted at their 10-yard line.
Yeah, trying to get the first down so they can run the clock out. The ball just takes Mack a little bit too far out of bounds. You want to try to leave him, give him 6 yards from the sideline. Just a great catch, just out of bounds.
Wow. And so Joseph Zima will stand about 4 yards deep in his end zone. 2 returners are back for Edmonton. You see Gavin Cobb right there. Dylan Mitchell the other. Zima kicks it away. Solid boot. Drops down on Montreal's side of the field. Covered Gina right there. Good job not taking the no yards penalty and wrapping up immediately. Titus Wall downfield on the coverage. A 41-yard punt, but a great starting position with 47 seconds left for Edmonton.
Yeah, and I love your point about that. That ball was a short kick. The special teams, they did not incur the 15-yard penalty. They understood it was a short kick. They were able to get out of the 5-yard halo. Otherwise, it'd be 15 yards closer. So really good job by the punt cover team.
Here comes the noise. If you thought it was loud on 3rd and 10, Montreal fans have been great all year after a 2023 Grey Cup. 9-1 on the season. McLeod Bethel Thompson Slung it to the outside. Dylan Mitchell, the intended receiver. Kavian Ento, with all that length and how much ground he can cover, almost got there.
Yeah, with Kavian Ento, the wide side of the field throws. There's just so much time for the field corners to recognize the ball in the air. McLeod gets it out there. He's fast, but Ento can make a play on the ball. So it's very hard sometimes to get those wide side throws. And the other thing that's hard right now, they have no concern about running the football. All the linebackers, everybody's out of the box. They don't expect McLeod to run or hand the ball.
Three-man rush from Montreal. They complete underneath. As Hergy Mayala gets dinged by Darnell Sankey, and he's going to let this one slide as they'll go 3rd and a yard.
So now they're going to be in situational offense. So now they're going to call something quick.
Well, I was going to say, do they bring in the short yardage package? No, they're going to leave McLeod on the field. So Dakota Prukop watches from the sideline. They're not going to go for the sweep like they usually would in this spot. Little inside handoff. Got the push they needed up front. Oof, man, that is working for it if you're the interior offensive line. And so there's an injured Alouette down on the field as Jarius goes right back to the call sheet.
So Jarius will be now communicating in the headset, probably coded words to the quarterback to be able to tell him. You'll see him hand signaling the plays. They want to be up to the line of scrimmage. So as soon as the clock starts, they're trying to conserve as much time as possible. So as soon as this is blowing in, expect him to do a quick cadence, and they're ready to go.
And Jarius is already saying, hey, we have to go. We have to go right now. Waving at McLeod Bethel-Thompson from the Edmonton sideline. McLeod rips this one to the far side, telling them to get out of bounds. Dylan Mitchell does, pushed out of bounds by Kavian Ento, so stops the clock. 2nd down, 19 seconds remaining, and Edmonton trailing by 4. That's a gain of 8.
And Montreal's going to make them do this. They're going to make them, they're not, right here they're playing zone coverage. They're going to say, hey, you got to make all the throws. You got to find where we've given a void. There's a void to the wide side of the field. McLeod sees it. Gets the play gets in the 2nd and short.
Marc-Antoine Dequoy, all-star free safety, stares down McLeod Bethel-Thompson from the free safety spot over the top into the end zone. Tevin Jones, incomplete. Kavian Ento, once again, he had a quiet first 3 quarters, but Ento has been everywhere here in the 4th.
And you're running out of time, so that's why there is a shot that's a little bit farther down on 2nd and 2. But Kavian Ento, I think he gets a piece of this ball on Tevin Jones. It's a beautiful throw, but Ento's ability to cover ground and make a play on the football is awesome for a field corner to be able to run that far inside and make a play on that seam.
Able to distract him just enough. McLeod Bethel-Thompson, 3rd and 2. Just wants to pick up the 1st down. Hergy Mayala does just that. So clock stops. They'll move the chains 10 seconds. And yeah, to your point, Lapo, they got to get the call in now because this is going to get whistled in.
Yeah, so they're going to get the call. Be ready.
Well,
they get 10 seconds left. Can they get 3 calls?
Yeah.
Can they got their timeout called?
Timeout has been taken by Edmonton. They'll talk things over. Trailing by 4 with 10 seconds remaining.
So here you're going through on your call sheet that Jarius is looking at. You're going to have on your call sheet 20 yards away from the. You have certain calls you practice during the week. All right, it's game on the line. I'm from the 20-yard line. What is our calls? So these players should have been through this scenario. You're not just making up a play call. These are the calls they practice maybe once a week, once every other week for 20 yards for the 1st down.
I wonder what they will dial up. 1st and 10, 10 seconds remaining. McLeod Bethel-Thompson rolls through his right, strong arms one up into the air, into the end zone, and incomplete. Somehow Dylan Mitchell skied in between Kavian Ento.
I'll tell you, every time I see Kavian Ento near a football, you get scared that he's going to make that play and pick it out to the wide side of the field.
It sets up likely one more shot here for the Edmonton Elks. 0-6 in 1-score ball games so far this year on a 3-game winning streak, trying to continue it. Montreal 9-1 on the season. The only game they lost right here against the Toronto Argonauts earlier on this season.
And you can see Montreal, they're lining up everybody deep because all they have to do is make sure that this is caught. I don't care if it's caught in front. It just has to be tackled in front of the 1-yard line. That's all you have to do. So get a tackle, right? Play everybody deep. Know the ball's got to go towards the end zone. The ball has to be thrown there.
The picket fence has been established by Montreal's defense. McLeod at the top and into the end zone. Incomplete. Marc-Antoine Dequoy came flying over the top. And Montreal, with a comeback victory, will hang on and move to 10-1 on the season. 21-17.
You can see the speed of Dequoy. He's just tracking the eyes, and then he uses that speed that got him and made him one of the best players in the league. So he just runs it down, watching his eyes, just go make a play on the football. I like they're trying to take a shot. They do a good opportunity. They got 2 plays to the end zone, 2 opportunities to make the catch. We just got some talented play around there. You got Beverett there, you got Dequoy. It's got to be a perfect throw and catch. And twice, I think these balls have been tipped on the last couple drives.
And McLeod turning around to the opposite end here. Percival Molson-Dame looks at the scoreboard to see if there's any time whatsoever left on the clock on an incomplete pass. Do we get one more shot? Just couldn't do it. Couldn't find a way, but Cody Fajardo does in his return to the lineup here. Austin Mack back in Montreal as well. And they will be